This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Jedi. Not by a long shot. But I've been a part of that journey. A journey built on teamwork, on determination, on hope. In a land of giants, hope ignites in blue. With a legend from the past, who could spark a new generation. Green brings a wisdom, vital in the trenches of battle, against all odds. They must give everything they've got.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the JETS-ALORIAN podcast here on the Sports Jedi Network. I'm your host, BX Sports Jedi Kev. We've got some breaking news coming in after last night's defeat for the New York Jets. They lose 23-20 at home at JetLife Stadium. You know, we know it's MetLife. I like to call it JetLife. Although, my goodness, the Jets this season hasn't shown, or even since the existing of MetLife Stadium, a home field advantage. They go in defeat. But the breaking news, Davante Adams, the trade is finalized. The Jets bring in a blockbuster move, a familiar target for Aaron Rodgers. I ask the question here, is this Jet fuel for the season, or does it reek of desperation for the New York Jets? We'll talk about that. Let's get right into it. I wanted to talk about the Jet game last night against the Bills. Seeing the interim head coach, Jeff Obrecht, you see definitely a different change in the offensive scheme on the Downings. I got to see them spreading the football. I got them seeing better play calling, more aggressively in a positive way. I thought they used Breece Hall much better, much greater, putting him in better positions. Got some offensive linemen moving around, blocking. Although Tyrone Smith had a terrible game, a couple holding. Yes, there's a lot of bad penalties on the team, preempted mistakes. You can't make that in any game. I don't care if the officiating was horrendous, because there was a couple roughing the passer calls for both teams that were questionable, for Buffalo as well for New York. It wasn't a crisp game for the officiating. I can't blame that on the officials. When your kicker at home doinks 2 kicks, he misses 2 kicks. There was 4 missed kicks throughout the whole game, 2 for each team. You have to overcome that. Good teams tend to win those games. Bad teams tend to lose or shoot themselves in the foot. Watching that game, what I got out of this was I was a little disappointed in the defensive running attack. The Buffalo Bills came in with a 5th-round rookie, Davis, running back, and pretty much were physical in the first half, in the first quarter, running the football down the Jets' throat. Pretty much the Jets got punched in the mouth with the running game. I felt, there was no proper adjustment. With the run stop, we saw a couple guys got hurt. Clark left the game, the safety. You also saw DJ Reed, and I don't believe he finished the game either. A little bit of a concern, is it a bang-up Nick, or is he going to play? We'll find out throughout the week with the injury report if they're going to play against Pittsburgh, that they have another Sunday night game or another primetime game. And when I got out of that, I said, it prompted me to get on board with this question. I think it was they're going to fuel up with Davante Adams on my end. On my opinion, my thought, I don't think it sounds for desperation when you have a 40-year-old quarterback I think we're past that point. When you went in all in, you didn't draft a quarterback. You didn't want to, you saw a team under Zach Wilson and this group that they had. They are young still in the skill positions in Garrett Wilson. You got Sauce Gardner, Brees Hall. You have a lot of the William brothers. You have a lot of skill or core players that are young. That are part, Jermaine Johnson, he's injured, but he's also a young part of this team. BJ Reed, there's a young group of core players on this Jet team where you needed to bring in players to elevate this team or elevate them to another level. It just hasn't seemed to gotten together for this Jet team. Getting Davante Adams, listen, this is going to be a plus for them. It was animate by Rodgers' comments. If you see the press post game, of course. Normally I don't stay late. I didn't stay late. I saw it earlier this morning, coming back home from work. Heard the post comments from Aaron Rodgers saying, pretty much Mike Williams ran the wrong route. One guy is going. If they both were supposed to be going deep, and one guy was supposed to go to one wide receiver was going deep. The other was supposed to come short or to the sideline. When he saw Williams run the wrong route, he kind of had to adjust while he was about to throw the ball deep, and kind of made it adjust, and that's why the throw was a little short, Mike Williams. But again, still, you got to complete those passes. Mike Williams fell, slipped. I've been a big proponent of Mike Williams to let the training wheels come off and get him target. Obviously, he's not in sync with Rodgers, and I think that preempted the trade. Also, I saw Woody Johnson. Everyone gets on Woody Johnson. Maybe he was prematurely firing Rob Saleh. But he's making the decisions to put the team in the, decisions that are best for the teams. So he's interjecting. He's trying to he sees that this team has a window, a very small window, a slim chance window, and he's trying to make the deal. The Jets will get a Davante Adams with the remaining salary. I believe it's $11.2 million for the season. He has an out. He's scheduled to make $36 million, but although we know that he wants a new contract and extension, that was the big holdout there in Las Vegas for Davante Adams. And do the Jets sign him? It all depends on Rodgers. Could this be a one-year rental and he's gone? It all depends on Aaron Rodgers is returning. What's the direction of the team? How the team finishes off? How this season spirals either upwards for the good or spirals out of control. They're 2-4 right now. Us as Jet fans, we're hoping for the best but expecting the worst. I hate to say that. I don't want to sound like a negative Joe Beningo Jet hater, but just like he would say, I've been watching this product for many years, and we kind of tend to see a trend. I think this is the reason why we make a trade and bring that Hall of Famer into the building, into Forum Park, is that he's supposed to get us over the hump on a single possession. When last drive of the game, he's that veteran, that wise man, that Jedi, to get us over the hump and get us into the end zone and get us a victory, overcome. One thing that I said on the watch along that I did yesterday, I'm gonna say here. Look, it's easy for me to sit here behind this computer, behind this keyboard, in front of this camera, and say, catch the football, Garrett Wilson, especially on that end zone when he got crushed by those two safeties. He just got absolutely walligapped. But I'm going to give you some names. Travis Kelce, Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk. What are those, Jamar Chase, what are those players having? They're high-paid patch casters, tight end, wide receivers. They're making a lot of money. 95% of the time, those players, they grab those balls. They come up with those catches. They make hand on football even after getting walloped and crunched. And yes, I'm not going to compare him to this player because this player he's just famous for one play like that, and it's David Tyree who pretty much pinned the football, but he didn't get wally mapped, he didn't get crushed. He just happened to pin the football going down on his helmet. But you gotta try to make those kind of plays if you're Garrett Wilson. Gotta grab them. You gotta come up with that play. And again, it's easier for me to say that behind a keyboard, sitting here on my tuchus and behind the camera. I get it. I'm not there on the field getting crushed and wally map. But you gotta come up with that as well as the tight end had an opportunity there, drop, got hit. This team has a lot of drop passes. Granted or not, if it's too much of a fastball on Rodgers, and by the way, if you're a Jet fan and you saw the way Rodgers threw that Hail Mary, the way he was throwing the football down the field, and the tight window that he threw that Lassard for big key first down, was it 21 yards down the field, threading the needle right between two defenders, right, and only place where Lassard could get it going down. My goodness, that pinpoint accuracy from Rodgers, it's still there. That's why I think this is the Davante Adams deal is fueling up. Also, one thing that I thought we were going to be a little struggling. You have to score when you're in the red zone. I believe the Jets only was 1 for 4 in the red zone, and one trip they came up with no points. That was the missed field goal that hit the upright that he just totally whiffed there, especially on that third down when you thought we had a touchdown. And it was negated by the damn holding call. Again, the officiating was very suspect. You can't blame that. You still got to execute your plays in the red zone. I thought Breece Hall had a really good game. I thought Breece Hall was very animated, very, very invested. But there's something a little bit still off with Hall. Especially going down the sideline when he had that opportunity. He should have put that football in the end zone when he got tackled. He made a move and he kind of came up. I don't know if he ran out. I don't think he ran out of gas. Instead of just going straight, he decided to cut where allowed the defender to come to him and get an angle to push him out of bounds. Again, easier said than done sitting behind a computer and saying and being an armchair quarterback, second, Monday morning quarterback here. It's easier said than done. I thought, Breece Hall should have had that. And then Breece Hall, on the opening drive of the game, 3rd and 3, Rodgers gives him a good football, only, kind of like back shoulder away. He decides to one-hand catch it, and he drops it. And even Troy Aikman on the broadcast said, why didn't he extend and try to catch with 2 hands? He catches that. We're moving the drive. That's a first down. You're moving. It was the perfect call. Rodgers is throwing the football, executing it. And again, I'm not here to be a Rodgers apologist, but Rodgers is putting the team in position. They just got to come up and execute these plays. He's threading the needle. He's getting the football in places where these receivers have to make the play, have to catch. He's throwing the football. This guy, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Everyone says he's out there making excuses because everybody wants to run after the quarterback or gaslight the quarterback because he's the big responsibility. He's the leader of the offense there. But if Rodgers is throwing the football in routes and where receivers aren't running the right routes or running in the position where the football is supposed to be, then there's an issue. There's a disconnect. Now, and where is the disconnect? Then you have to start looking at and they made the offensive coaching change. From Hackett, Downings got elevated. Now we have to start having a conversation. And look, it's going to take about 2 weeks. I said it on the watch along yesterday. I think it's going to take about 2 weeks to get everyone acclimated to the coaching schemes, the schematics, the new plays that they want to do. But they have to be coached up. Wide receivers coach. I need to see on the Jets. I don't even have a clue who's the wide receivers coach on this team. We need to see that. I never knew it was. I knew it was Hines Ward back in the Cases days. I got to know who's the. We got to keep these coaching staff accountable. One thing I was very pleasantly surprised, or I guess there was long hanging fruit. To be honest with you, seeing Downing sitting down next to Rodgers and conversating during the defense on the field. those conversations. You didn't see that, although or at least the sideline, the cameras didn't go to that when the Jets played with Nathaniel Hackett and Rob Saleh. All you saw was Rob Saleh sitting there with a deer in the headlights look. And that was very disconcerting, especially when the Jets are playing nationally televised games. We saw Obrecht a little more animated. And again, I'm not saying you have to be the clapper, Jason Garrett on the sideline. No, but you want to show a little bit that you're in the game, you're emotional in a good way, controlled. And I also like to see Downey sitting next to your quarterback and having a conversation. I also would have liked to see Tyrod Taylor sit there. I need to see that offensive group together because it shows me that they're communicating and having these conversations, wanting to get better. Those are the little things. Maybe watching it at home, I want to see those things. I also want to see the defense having conversations. Now Obrecht is overseeing the whole operation. That was Obrecht's job, to have a conversation with the defense while Saleh was there with the deer in the headlights. That's why the defense played better. I like the fact that Obrecht admitted the defense did not play well. They didn't play their normal par of football game, and I agree. And in these days here, I'm here, or at least today on this Monday, they kind of felt like the offense putting blame on the offense here. I can't put much blame on the offense at all with that. Just other than those passes that were not caught. And of course, you remember the last thing that you're gonna remember. The last play was that interception to Mike Williams, and that's gonna stick in your head. I get that because that's the last image you're gonna remember the Jet offense. But I gotta come away with the defense. Clemens, if he just pursues, he just made a subtle hesitation that allowed Allen to get the outside and get that first down and ice it. And I'm not going to go too crazy with Clemens because right now, who should be there on the corner, it should be Hassan Reddick. And Hassan Reddick, we saw that he changed his representation now. Drew Rosenhaus, no more CAA. CAA dropped him. The young man is a little irate or confused, or I don't know what's his end game here. Obviously, it looked like CAA was given a bill of goods, or Hassan changed his mind. I don't know what it was. That this trade from the Eagles to the Jets should have not happened. And of course, Douglas is good friends with Harry Roseman. They made the deal, changing some players, making a swap there. I know Brees Huff hasn't been huffing and puffing for Philadelphia either. But just to see Hassan Reddick, who was going to help the Jets be a 3-down player, he was going to play all 3 downs. And the way he runs the pass rush, all that good stuff, just had a change of heart. I don't know what it is. He could still become a Jet, sign whatever deal that they wanted to do, so he could try to recoup his money here. He said no to that. So the Jets said, you know what, fine. If you could find an open trade, a trade partner, we're willing to have that conversation and move you, get you off. That's also a black cloud on this organization, on this team here, because everyone's wondering, is Hassan Reddick, is he coming? Is he going to help us? He's going to boost our defense. Once we know where Hassan Reddick stands with the Jets, either traded or he's going to get his rear end in, now guys could relax, and now you're going to add depth, or now guys have to step up. Although guys should be stepping up regardless if he's in the building or not. You shouldn't be depending on a person in Reddick's case. But what hurt the Jets is the Jermaine Johnson injury. I think you're seeing more Clemens. Keesaw had a bad game with those penalties. He got an unsportsmanlike conduct. Uncharacteristic Jets got to clean up those penalties. And I think that's going to happen. Give it, I said 2 weeks. And of course, the schedule is going to point in the Jets' favor the next 2 weeks. They've got Pittsburgh on a Sunday night, and they replay the Patriots. I understand they have a rookie quarterback. Could he be getting better? Could the game be slowing down? You never know with these rookies these days. Sometimes they could be uber talented. Look at Bo Nix. Came in here and wasn't so great, but he did enough to win the football game. Although you could argue the Jets did enough to lose gave that game to Denver. It is what it is. They still won the game. Bo Nix, could that happen with the Patriots, anything can happen on a given Sunday. So they have two games that they should, on paper, as of right now, as we speak, bringing in Davante Adams. I'm pretty sure they're going to bring him up to speed. I'm pretty sure he's going to play Sunday Night Football. We're going to see him on the field, even if it's a decoy there for Garrett Wilson and helping Garrett Wilson get more target. Not maybe he doesn't get the number one cornerback. Garrett Wilson could cook. I did see a lot of very encouraging from Garrett Wilson in the slot. Maybe you can move Garrett Wilson in the slot, Adams on the outside, and they have Lazard or vice versa, where and Rodgers, depending where Rodgers wants to go with the football, he could trust and so forth. I thought I would have liked before the Davante Adams deal. We knew the Davante Adams deal was going to happen. I kind of wanted to see Rodgers work with Gibson a little. Gibson is a speedster. And I know Gibson right now is a special teamer for a reason. He was a free agent signing on this team. But I kind of would have liked to see Gibson, but maybe he's not it. Rodgers feels that, at his age, the clock is ticking. He's going to get him someone that he's going to have trust, timing issues, and not would have, could have, or guessing if this person is going to run the right route, is going to be there, and it's going to make him look like a fool with some interception or underthrowing the football where the receivers aren't. I get the move. Why Woody Johnson did this and Joe Douglas. It feels like a Woody Johnson get it done to Douglas, and I guess Douglas is going to have to obey and listen to the owner because Douglas might be on the hot seat at the end of the year. Although personally, I know this is not going to be the popular opinion among us Jets fans. I like Joe Douglas. And I like Joe Douglas as your general manager. People are going to say, why? Well, look at the young players he's brought in here, picking up. And doesn't matter if he had a lot of first-round picks that year when he got Jermaine Johnson, Sauce Gardner, and, of course, Garrett Wilson. But they're developed. There are players. They brought them in here. They're here. They're playing. They played well their first year. You know what? There's been a lot of first-round picks that the Jets have brought in the past that hasn't done anything on all across the football. But to hit on three who are cornerstones of your franchise, it's a big plus. It says a lot for him. I understand everyone's going to hold him against the Zach Wilson deal, picking him, but they just got enamored with a football player that threw the football down the field on a pro day that was with no pads, no one rushing him, that he had a great arm strength, especially in that building. And they just had it. They were desperate for a quarterback. There was really much the only, not really. We could go back in circles about that draft. Trevor Lawrence hasn't been lighting it up either. And look at Jacksonville. Lawrence has not been lighting it up. So, yes, you got to hit your quarterback correctly. Also, I think that Hackett, remember, Greg Knapp was supposed to be the quarterback's coach to help Zach Wilson. Unfortunately, he had that motorcycle accident and lost his life. Then you brought LaFleur, who was a rookie offensive coordinator. Yes, I think they got a lot out of Zach Wilson. Second year, you bring Nathaniel Hackett in. I think Nathaniel Hackett was supposed to. What we all knew was supposed to be Rodgers. Was supposed to be the offense catering. He gets hurt last year. One thing I got to say, Nathaniel Hackett never reorchestrated his offense to help Zach Wilson in his game. And I know Zach Wilson couldn't make the underthrows, the underneath throws, the checkdowns. Yes, I understand it was a little bit of detriment to his team, to the team on his quarterback play. Also, that offensive line thing. It's not, again, this is revisionist history, not to go on and on and on. We've seen the film. We've seen the movie. Some of us left early on those movies. Some of us wanted our money back. It was bad. Now, let's turn the page here. We got Rodgers in the game. We got Rodgers hopefully healthy, although he's been taking a lot of beating. The one thing you want to say, if you want to get bothered with Joe Douglas early here, the offensive line hasn't played well. But Moses Moody returned yesterday from some injuries. Tyrone Smith might be getting to the end of being washed. Not yet. I still think I think Buffalo might have been a bad matchup. Look, we're all entitled to have one bad day. Brees Hall had a horrible game against Denver. Rodgers, I think, had a bad game against Minnesota. It happens. NFL players have one or two bad games in a 17-week season. We're not perfect. We don't always have our A game or our fastball every day 365 days of a year. I get that. I get that. We just can't have that constantly, and you can't make self-inflicting mistakes with the techniques and holding. Allow pass rushers to come free and easy without being blocked. You're defending people that are not there. You're defending You're defending John Cena where you can't see him, and you're defending no one around you and allowing the pass rushers to come in. You got to know the chip block. Also, I'm noticing with Brees Hall, certain blitz, either he steps in the pocket and you see the safeties come around the corner. Totally free shot. Maybe he's got to stay in just a little more and see the field on his passing assignments. All of that, you know what that is called? That's all coaching. My question is, what are we doing in Florham Park throughout the week before preparation? I need to see better preparation with the offensive line coach. Personally, I thought when I was surprised Salah got fired. I thought the offensive line coach was going to get fired. Other than Nathaniel, and sending a message to Nathaniel Hackett that you're next on the hot seat, I need you to change your plays. I didn't think Woody Johnson was going to go with extreme. I was expecting to hear offensive line coach was removed of his duty and he was going to get the scapegoat because the offensive line was horrific. But no, they did what they did. I got to see what's going on with coaching. I got to see what's going on with those coaches in those meeting rooms. You know, those are the questions that I would love a Rich Samini, and others, the beat writers for the New York Jets, to be asking these questions. What's different with the coaching? Are we looking at film? Are we making the proper adjustments? Why the pre-snaps penalties here in week 6? You guys been together now 6 weeks. You could say this is game 2 of the regular season, like a lot of people say. The preseason, the first 4 games in the NFL season. You hear that narrative all across now, that they treat them like preseason games. The NFL offenses start ramping up after week 4. Start seeing real football. Well, if that's the case, the Jets are 0-2. If you want to go that route, but you got to get going. I think you got to get Davante Adams in the building. But again, you have to start coaching up these teams and putting them in the proper scheme. The run block, the pass block. I thought Rodgers cannot continue to get hit. We're going to see Tyron Taylor in this, and Rodgers might miss a couple games if this continues to get beat down from Rodgers. Rodgers is getting the football out as fast as possible. You could see it when he moves the football quick. It's accurate. It's moving and so forth. But again, it all starts with the pass rush, with the pass attack, the blocking scheme, the ability to run the football. When you got guys dynamic like Hall and like Allen, you got to mix them up. Sometimes call me a relic, call me old-fashioned. I kind of would like to see them under center with a lead blocker for our running backs with a fullback, but they don't have that. They don't run that. And the I formation, get it going in power football. But again, easier said than done. But that offensive line does not show you that they could get that push to open up holes for our running backs to hit it clean and just go out there and get 7 yards per carry. Or heck, at this point, give me 4 yards per carry, and and then with Rodgers' ability to throw that football with the quickness, you got 2 downs to get a first. You can mix it up. But they have not shown that ability, guys. So we'll see now with Davante Adams, they spread the field. They're able to spread the field. Now you can't have your safeties are going to have to try to disguise if they're going to come in on the blitz, if they're going to pass protect, or they're going to run block, run attack. And Rodgers is so savvy of a veteran quarterback, he's got to be able to read that, snip that. But if he's worried about his offensive line and worrying about getting blindsided, crushed by just four rushing, attackers coming in on defense, that's not good. That's a recipe of disaster. So you got to give him insurance that he's going to get protected. You got to give him assurance that he's going to get help and so forth. And with that said, breaking news as we're going on right now. Amari Cooper was traded to the Buffalo Bills. So the Browns moving Amari Cooper to the Bills. Bills react to the Davante Adams deal from the Jets. They make a move. Josh Allen gets a number 1 receiver, and Amari Cooper is heading to the Buffalo Bills. I think that's going to help the pastry chef there in Buffalo. But again, we're talking Jets football, and they react to the Jets getting Davante Adams. Boy, this is going to look like this NFL year. This before you got a couple of weeks before before trading deadline. I think it's November 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be some moves. There's going to be some great moves there with some wide receivers. Look at the wide receivers are going to be moving. Will Hassan Reddick be on this team before November 3rd? Listen, the quicker it can get done, the better. We'll see. The Jets definitely going to play the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday night. We ask you to join us on the watch along. I want to first and foremost, I want to say thank you so much for everyone on the YouTube platform that watched along. My goodness, almost 2,700 watching the Jets Bills game last night on my channel, YouTube channel. Appreciate everyone that joined us, all the new faces, all the new watch along in the chat. You guys were phenomenal. You guys were awesome. Thank you for everyone on the Twitter X. You guys were great. Rumble app, you guys killed it. Over 1,000 on Rumble. Appreciate everyone that watched along with us on Rumble. Twitch, over 50 on the Twitch app. Yes, appreciate that. Thank you. And Facebook, of course, on Truvo, Kick. Thank you, everyone that's listening. Thank you for everyone that's listening to us on Spotify. I wanted to shout out everyone on the Spotify platform, Apple Podcast. Thank you, all those that are listening to the JETS-ALORIAN podcast here and Sports Jedi Network channel. Of course, your host, BX Sports Jedi Kevin. We do the watch-alongs. We are the Don and your only watch-along from a fan, for the fans, and by a fan, because I am a fan of all these teams and I love it. And I just want to watch along and have a conversation with my fellow fans of either the Jets, Knicks, Yankees, New York Rangers, or wrestling, WWE fans, NXT fans. Just want to have that, have that conversation with my fellow fans, have a conversation, see what you see there. What would you do different? Cheer together when we win, and be there for one another when sometimes we lose, or when we react and get shocked when we see what's going to happen in the UFC with a knockout or a submission, or in the wrestling when we get a surprise finish. All that here, that's what the Sports Jedi Network is about. We ask you to join us. We ask you to subscribe to all our different platforms. If you're listening to us or you're in our platform, follow us on the X Machine, Twitter X Machine at BXJedi76. We appreciate everyone. We thank everyone. This is the way, Jet Nation. Hopefully this changes our future, our fortune for the New York Jets. Only time will tell. Again, may the sports be with you. This is BX Sports Jedi Kev saying, see you Sunday, Jet fans. Unless any news happens with Hassan Reddick, I'll jump on if any breaking news happens. But other than that, let's go Jets.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.